All right, everybody, I've got an announcement. This is one of those videos that you want to watch, one of those videos that I appreciate you watching if you clicked on it, and one of those videos that for the next 10 minutes, hopefully you get some value out of it, and it brings the community a lot together. I have an announcement. I did the announcement today on my morning live stream, which was an awesome live stream. About 280 people showed up at peak, and all of us were talking about the announcement, and it seemed like there was a decent amount of excitement around the announcement. So there's a Twitter thread for this announcement. I'm going to read through this Twitter thread. It's going to explain what the announcement is, because I think that'll give you a deeper understanding of what we're doing, and then we'll get into it, and we will talk about this announcement, and it will officially be official. I've been holding this in for the past 2 weeks as I've been building it. Some of you guys know what it is, some of you guys don't, but it is time to get going, and here it is. All right, I need everyone to listen up. Big announcement for the Palantir community. The Palantir community is growing. It went from a Wall Street bets meme pump stock to having amazing thought leaders creating valuable content around the company over the past year. So it's time. Palantir needs a Teslarati. The news coming around the company and things affecting the company is starting to come out on a daily. For those that don't know what Teslarati is, this is what it is: a dedicated website and blog to Tesla. The community needs a website that can harness all that news, put it in a central place, add thoughts and analysis, and be a home for newcomers. Introducing dailypalantir.com. I've spent the past year understanding Palantir deeper than any company I've invested in, went out of my way to find the right people to talk to, like Sean and Sachin, dig deeper into their past and understand their financials, and I believe that Palantir is a rocket ship. Officially today, I'll get back into the thread in a second, we have launched Palantir Daily.com, or dailypalantir.com, because someone owns Palantir Daily. I'm like, all right, whatever. Dailypalantir.com. It is here. What is dailypalantir.com? In the most simplest of terms, to me, I think it is a hopefully incredible resource as Palantir grows as a company, as the news around the company goes, and as interest from retail grows in the company, for it to be a dedicated platform for people to be able to actually access information. That's what it is. Palantir Daily, you guys can see it right now. We have about 11 articles up, and we just broke an article today that I'll do another video on, which was awesome, because 10 minutes after I launched this, I was like, oh, I have breaking news, and I got to launch it. We have a couple tabs here. This is not going to be the final design. Things are going to change. Things are going to get better. I wouldn't say it's rough. I would just say it's a little bit more basic. It's going to get a little bit more better in the future. This is just what I was able to cook up after 2 weeks of getting it done. We have Palantir News, Palantir 101. This is for people. This tab is going to be for the most basics. Think of it like an FAQ tab. People are going to be able to understand true basics of Palantir. Then we have the Palantir SPACs. This took a long time getting all these logos. I'm really proud of how it looks. This part of the website is going to be dedicated to covering the SPACs that Palantir is invested in. I'll talk a little bit about them more. And then we have a contact page. So let me keep going down the thread. I've created around 250 videos on my YouTube channel around the company, and I think it's time to launch a full site. YouTube is filled with a lot of other content. Reddit, subreddits can just be toxic, and Seeking Alpha, Motley Fool, they aren't dedicated to Palantir. It's time for an official website that's dedicated for this company outside of all the other platforms that exist, where you can access valuable information, but all that information at the end of the day is with a lot of other information, because those are, platforms and social media companies. What is my goal here? I want to create a centralized hub for the community to get Palantir knowledge. Now, you may think, oh, well, that exists on Reddit, that exists on Discord, that exists on Twitter. Yeah, it does. The problem is it's not a centralized source dedicated to Palantir, and a lot of the curation, which is really the magic of content consumption, right? If YouTube doesn't curate good videos, you don't use YouTube. The curation of Palantir content is what the goal is for dailypalantir.com, and not the curation of just getting a bunch of articles that exist on the website and then putting them for Palantir and because they're tagged with Palantir and then putting on the website, but rather having a human actually be able to create that content, because that human has some level of authority and knowledge and perspective that they can bring to the Palantir community. Report all news, good or bad, like a Palantir SPAC being shorted heavily right now, but also offer my analysis. The goal is not to make this an echo chamber. The real goal is to make sure that if Lilium, which is a Palantir SPAC, is being shorted and investigated for fraud, shareholders should know that information. So this website is not just going to be a perma-bull website. Will the website be very bullish because there's going to be a lot of perspectives? Obviously, as someone who's bullish on Palantir, yes, but the website is also going to have a lot of the concerns that are with Palantir. If Palantir has a bad earnings, that's going to be reported. That stuff will have to happen because I want this to be a centralized source for the company. And ultimately cover the information in its most amazing stages of growth and get the right information out there. My whole thesis essentially is that YouTube is great, but you can get any random person on YouTube talking about Palantir and get clicks because they put Palantir in the title. Reddits can be toxic. Twitter is Twitter. There's a lot of noise. If there was a centralized source where people could go and access information, and they don't even have to go through YouTube or Google, they could just go to dailypalantir.com because they know the information they're going to get is accurate, interesting, unique, and informative, then I think this could be a heavy, heavy resource for a growing retail community. Now, I'm also very excited about this. I am now a journalist. I will be able to say I reported the news on a company daily before I die. Being a YouTube creator didn't really feel like a journalist because like today when I reported breaking news, like that kind of felt more like a journalist, and it's on my own platform, right? It's not on someone else's platform. So it's just like a cool thing that I get to say I was able to do. I get so excited to build things. I've learned how to build a site in the past 2 weeks, and it's been an amazing experience. I got to attribute this to my mom. I mean, she's someone who's like, hey, go out there and go get it on your own. And I just love the process of building something. So the process of building this website is even more exciting to me than the actual content that I'm putting up there, because it's like we get to see this grow in real time. I'll be updating the site traffic in a pinned tweet on my profile. So if you're not following me on Twitter, please make sure to follow me there at Amit is Investing. It's going to be really transparent. You guys are going to see the traffic daily on the website and how many people are actually coming to the website. And that should also influence your due diligence on the website, because if you see, the website's getting 20,000 views a week, you're like, oh, maybe people are actually interested in Palantir, right? So hopefully it'll influence the due diligence. Now, I want more people in the community to do this. We should have as many Palantir blogs as possible, just like Tesla has a ton of them. Obviously, there's some that stand out, but there's a lot in the Tesla community. The problem is running a site is really hard. Understanding how to set up a website, SEO, consistent content daily in the media business, which this is a media company. If you don't have content, you're dead and people don't care about you anymore, which means you need content. Marketing articles, new content ideas, making sure the site actually works. So like when people click it, they don't get into an error or some random page. It's a lot of effort, and I hope this one serves as a pillar of the community. So it's here. You can share the articles. You can retweet them. I think it'll be much easier to send people to the site versus just the YouTube channel. The site has about 10 articles up right now. More will be added daily. And if you want to guess right an article, don't hesitate to reach out. Amit@dailypalantir.com. For anyone who's been trying to reach me, that is the perfect email to reach me now. And you can follow Daily Palantir for updates. And look at this. Here's one of the first articles I put out. Why does Palantir's Alex Karp speak so philosophically? It just looks cool. Like the thumbnail, it says dailypalantir.com right there. Like it's just so cool. And if you click on it, you get into a 3-minute read. So you guys know as long as it's going to take to read it. And then you'll be able to check it out. So that's it. Palantir Daily. That is my official announcement. Now, what does this mean for the Palantir community? Number one, I think that if it becomes a centralized source for information, more and more people are going to get to understand the company and going to get through the FUD of the company that exists on some of the other websites that aren't dedicated to Palantir, but that have to put out information about the company because it's a hot topic and like they're covering every company in the world, so they have to put out those articles. I did an interview with Sean the other day, the former IBM employee. You guys know him. That's going to come out like probably tomorrow. And in that interview, he was really talking about how his due diligence process is based upon understanding trends. And in fact, one of the things he worked on at IBM from an analytics perspective was analyzing the words that are coming on Twitter and the trends from those words to be able to make sense of like investment opportunities that people could invest in. Because if you see everyone talking about a certain topic, maybe there's a lot of buzz in that community to then go invest in whatever thing that is forming. That is the way social investing is even happening now, with all people crowdsourcing information and then putting that information into the hands of retail investors that didn't exist a decade ago. I think dailypalantir.com can be another way for that to happen. And I think if it grows, it can be a pretty substantial, big way for the community to actually access information, crowdsource information. The article I broke today came from a tip on Twitter from last night, right? So like all this different information comes together. And when that information comes together on a website where people know to go to, meaning if you want, if CNN is your news of choice, to go to CNN. You don't have to go to like Google News. If Fox News is your news of choice, to go to Fox News. If Palantir is something you care about and dailypalantir.com is your news of choice when accessing breaking news, information, analysis, financials around the company in a centralized hub, then it just becomes a portal into this company. And if the person running that portal is dedicated and they're consistent and they care deeply and they're authentic, which after 250 videos on the company, I think you guys probably know by now, I'm doing this because I really want to cover the company and because I really think there's a potential here for this company to be big. And the process of building the coverage of the company is like exciting to me. Then there's a chance for this company, for this platform, for this website to potentially succeed. And that's the goal here. That's the idea. That's how I can explain it. And I think that there is a big chance when the stock price also appreciates, because we've seen when stock prices appreciate, search volume and search trends tend to go up. In February 2021, Palantir search results were at an all-time high, and unfortunately, that was an inflated way for the Palantir rocket ship to take off. I thought it was, ultimately not the real rocket ship. crashed 80% back down to reality. Now I think we're in a moment where there is so much thought leadership and content being created around this company. New channels every day are popping up talking about it, which is good. But there's so much more information. It's hard to decipher who's actually saying something that is meaningful and valuable. And if there's just a credible, trusted source, which like you could say my YouTube channel is, you could say, other people's YouTube channels are, they're trusted, credible sources, but they're still within the platform of YouTube. It's not separate, independent, and sovereign by itself. That's where I think Palantir Daily starts to make a lot more sense at the end of the day. Now that Palantir is 80% down from its all-time highs, I believe that there is a slow and steady rise back to the top and back to, a top that we've never seen before, new all-time highs. But for it to get there, it's not going to happen on the Fed pumping a bunch of liquidity into the markets and people betting on speculative stocks and being a Wall Street bets meme. It's only going to happen if two things happen. Number one, the company executes against their thesis and they over deliver. That is what will help it grow. But number two is if there's a thriving community of investors that care about this stock, and especially a stock that has 2 billion shares outstanding. If there is not a thriving community, not just institutions, but actual people like us that are producing media and content and like getting rid of the FUD and getting rid of the myths and actually are talking about what this company could become, then there's real exponential potential here. And I think that's ultimately what happened with Tesla. Tesla was on a rocket ship, but that retail community really allowed them to stay strong and get further into new dimensions because they believed in the mission of Tesla. I think we believe in the mission of Palantir. I think there's a really, really strong approach for Palantir to become one of the most important software technology companies in the world, to protect Western values and stop bad things from happening or mitigate really bad things from happening when they happen. And to me, that's a company I want to invest in. I am not here to invest in BS companies. There's not that many companies out there that have any level of growth potential and are actually changing the world. Palantir is one of those companies that's actually saying, hey, we're going to grow 30% year over year and we're going to try to change the world. And it's like, all right, that's a risk I'm willing to take. And I hope you all follow me on the journey of covering this company daily on dailypalantir.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can subscribe to the newsletter on the website, on the homepage, really at the bottom. We'll send in email every Thursday summarizing the news of Palantir. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you on the next one. And I will also see you on dailypalantir.com.